What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over what I think is the best loadout in Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, comment down below what your favorite loadout is this season, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolveJake, just like my channel name is, and it's underneath the webcam at all times. Also, like all of my content, this is going to be focused on zero build. The first thing is going to be shotgun, and I did previously make a video talking about what I think is the best shotgun this season, and that is going to be the Chaos Reloader shotgun. I'm going to keep it short because that video is already out there if you want a more in-depth opinion on why this is the best shotgun. But the damage on this thing is completely busted. It does only have one shell at a time. You have to like reload it in between shots, but it can reload while not equipped, so you can play with this like how you would any other pump shotgun. And with how fast the reload is, you're not really going to notice it too much unless it bugs out on you. But you can shoot this, swap to your spray weapon, hopefully just get the kill outright, but maybe your first shotgun shot didn't land too hard. Then you could swap back to it for the second shot, which should ultimately win the fight. The base damage is really high, and this weapon doesn't even really benefit from getting headshots that much. So you're better off just going for body shots at all times and getting that hard-hitting, consistent damage. That makes it consistent and easy to use. So as long as your aim is decent, this shotgun is going to be a menace. And while it does only have one shell, the way you play with pumps anyways fits this gun naturally with its automatic kind of reload even when not equipped, and that makes it very good. There is a bug where sometimes it doesn't reload on its own when it's supposed to. That is pretty frustrating to play around and pretty confusing. This will likely get fixed at some point, as bugs always do in Fortnite, and when that happens, I think this is just going to be the clear-cut best shotgun in the game. The only real knock against it at the moment is that bug that exists. So when that gets fixed, this thing is going to be even more of a menace than it is now. Just being able to chip out consistent high damage body shots is something that is difficult to mess with. So I think the Chaos Reloader shotgun is the best this season. For spray weapon, you know, you're kind of close to medium range weapon that you're going to be pairing with this shotgun, and you do need a somewhat dedicated spray weapon, I think, with this shotgun. I think the best choices this season are just going to be the regular pistol and the Thunderburst SMG. Both of these are incredibly good. Like, they're just solid across the board. Accuracy, while they are both third-person weapons, they are both incredibly accurate. So if your aim is decent, you're going to be able to full spray with both of these weapons pretty much at any range, no problem. The Thunderburst SMG has, you know, basically no bloom, and the pistol has very little bloom. So they're both very accurate. And then in terms of hip fire, they're also both very good. Again, the Thunderburst has basically no bloom, but the pistol's spread is minuscule enough that you're going to be able to hip fire it well in most close range situations and not really be hindered by the accuracy of the pistol. So they're both really good. I think it's just preference between the two. One thing about the Thunderburst that I see a lot of people kind of getting surprised by is that this is actually fully automatic. It's a burst weapon, but you can just hold down the shoot button and it will continue to shoot out burst after burst after burst. So that may help you in close range fights. I've gotten asked a lot, you know, which of these I prefer or which I think is best. I think recently I've been leaning towards the pistol. I've really enjoyed using it so far this season, but I don't really think there's a clear-cut answer one way or the other between these two weapons. It's really just preference, what you want to use, what you feel comfortable with, or even rarity. And I feel like that's kind of what I've been choosing most off so far this season because I enjoy using both and because things are so early and I don't know really exactly how I feel yet. I've just been kind of going off rarity. If I get a gold pistol, I'll use that. If I get a higher rarity Thunderburst, I'll use that. I've won games with both. I've gotten, you know, kills that I was impressed by with both of these weapons. So I don't really think you're going wrong one way or the other with either the Thunderburst SMG or the pistol as your spray weapon. And now this is where the loadout gets kind of interesting, I think, because you have two choices. You can go double mobility or you can go for the new Vector DMR. So at long range, you don't really have much of a choice, much of like a weapon to solve those ranged problems with just a shotgun and your spray weapon. The pistol and the Thunderburst are good enough in kind of medium range, but, you know, super far away, they're not really going to be doing well because at the end of the day, they are just third-person weapons, and they both have pretty decent damage fall-off because of the fact that they're just, you know, more close-range oriented weapons. I find that I can play with just these two weapons fine most of the time, as long as you play well around your range limitations and play aggressive and kind of use your mobility well, I think you can get away with 2 guns this season just fine. So using just shotgun and then either the pistol or the Thunderburst, I think it works just fine. Some people aren't going to feel that way, and if you do want a ranged weapon this season, the DMR is going to be the best choice for you, especially if you're already using one of these other spray weapons. If you're going to be using the pistol or you're going to be using the Thunderburst, you don't really want to use the Combat AR or the Nemesis, because while the Combat AR and the Nemesis do have more range than the Thunderburst and the pistol, they aren't as dominant at range as the DMR, and you don't need kind of that medium long range option if you have the Thunderburst or the pistol to cover that. So I feel like going like shotgun, pistol, Nemesis AR just wouldn't really be necessary. Like if I'm going to use that third weapon, I want it to be the DMR to dominate like extreme range, and also for kind of stalematey situations where you and the opponent are both playing off cover. So if I was going to use 3 guns, it would be shotgun, pistol or burst, and then the DMR. There are exotics in the loot pool that you can get from the rivalry stations around the map, and so the Mammoth pistol is incredibly good. You could use that in place of the DMR as kind of your third weapon, and this is going to be something that's also really good at long range and is really good in kind of stalematey fights around cover. If you have an opponent barely showing, you can hit them for 100 damage, push off that, get that elimination easily. There's also the marking sniper, which is pretty good. And the, I'm trying to remember what the other exotic is right now. I cannot remember off the top of my head. But there's another exotic that is really good. And just in general, I think you could slot any of these exotics in for the DMR. And that would also work just fine, depending on, you know, what feels good to you or what you enjoy using. But for me, most of the time, I've just been enjoying using 2 base weapons, the shotgun and the pistol, the burst, and then double mobility. And for our mobility items this season, this is actually the other exotic that I couldn't think of at the moment because it was in my brain classified as a mobility item. We have the Shockwave rocket launcher as a mobility item. You can get this from the rivalry stations. We also have the overdrive grenades, which recently have been buffed. They do now send you further, and you can carry 6 in a single stack. So the overdrive grenades feel a lot better. And then we have these 7 power gloves as well. And if you're going double mobility, I don't think you're really going wrong one way or the other with either of these choices. The gloves are good, the drive grenades are good, and the Shockwave rocket launcher is probably the best mobility item in the game this season. And so you just kind of take what you can get. Most of the time, it's probably going to be the 7 gloves and the overdrive grenades. But if you have the currency to spend and you don't mind spending it, and you find it at the rivalry stations, the Shockwave rocket launcher is going to be, like I said, the best mobility item in the game probably. And it really does well in double mobility setups, because the thing that the Shockwave rocket launcher is kind of not that good at is when you only need a little bit of mobility. If you have someone like 30 meters away and you want to like hop on them, I feel like the rocket launcher feels really weird there because you end up going way too far. But if you have the overdrive grenades, you can make that happen. If you have the power gloves, you can make that happen. So a lot of times I end up just using gloves and nades, but if I get my hands on the rocket launcher, I would probably want to run gloves and the launcher. But again, it just, you take what you get sometimes. If you happen to have 6 overdrive grenades or gloves with like 8 in it, I'm probably going to take those overdrive grenades. You know, it really just comes down to what you have at the end of the day. A lot of times with these mobility items, especially now that even the gloves have, you know, a set amount of uses. And then the final slot is going to be for heals. And this is another thing that you just kind of take what you get. I think the 2 best options this season are the Slapperoni Pizza and the Chug Jug. Both of these are really good in their own ways. The Chug Jug heals decently quick and has a lot of capacity, while the pizza slices don't have as much capacity. If you're carrying the slices themselves, you can still heal up incredibly fast, and that slap effect, being able to give you unlimited sprint, is really helpful, especially in fights. And with these Slapperoni pizza slices, you can actually start to eat it and cancel it to get that slap effect without actually consuming your pizza slices. This is a bug that will likely get fixed at some point, but as of the time I record this, you can still kind of get unlimited slap without consuming your pizza slice. So I personally prefer to take the pizza slices most of the time, but a lot of times I end up using the Chug Jug or the Chug Splash or the Big Pots or the Flowberry Mist Grenades. Heals, a lot of times you might have a preference, but as the game gets going and as you get into the later stages of the game and you've used up some of your heals, you just gotta kind of take what you have access to. So my main setup this season is shotgun, pistol or SMG, double mobility, and then the pizza slices. You might want to cut one of those mobility items for something like the DMR or the mammoth pistol, or the marking sniper. All of those items are very good in those really long range fights, but also the kind of stalematey fights around cover where using a third person bloom weapon kind of struggles. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, comment down below what your favorite setup is, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.